What's going on, gang? We return. People ask for birds, and the bird man himself is here. How's it going, Triggs?
It's going alright. We just finished Evo Cup. I went 2-2 with birds. Definitely some improvements to be made to this list, but very excited to show you what this deck can do. Just very fun deck in general, and very surprisingly good, and a good knowledge check if your opponent doesn't know what it's doing.
Hell yeah.
So let's get started with the X. For Yokomon, best deck in the deck. Recycles your pieces from trash, because the deck is very reliant on you having pieces in trash to activate some of your abilities. The rookies, we have 4 of the Veemon BT16, 4 of the BT11 Veemon, and then 3 of the BT13 Veemon, which I just made up. There's some umming and ahhing about whether this BT13 package should be in, because it requires a lot of cards to sort of work. But it can get you out of some situations where you need to play something but your security isn't quite down, and you see I need a Garudamon, but I don't want to pay full cost for it. Yeah. And you just you swing something in, you play this for free, you bounce to Christie, and blah blah blah. So you can cut it, but I kind of like it personally. This is just a great searcher. This is also a great searcher. There's no reason not to run these at full. Level 5s, because for some reason I hate... Sorry, level 4s. I said level 5s because there's only 5 level 4s, yet again. For some reason I just don't like level 4s. There's 2 ways to play this deck. There's the way I'm kind of playing it, where you forego your level 4s to be able to swing with your level 3s more aggressively, and then use sword effects to play out a level 4 if you have one in hand and keep looping it back, or when you get to a point where you can just play level 5, you just do that. I would probably bump this one up by 1, just because 5 is too low. Sometimes they do just go missing. Also, sometimes you just need a blocker. But 2 Digimon, Great Retaliate is very strong kill spell, and this again recycles your pieces, which is relevant for when you're playing Sora. The level 5s, we have 3 Garuda Ace, 3 Garuda X, and 2 of the BT13 Garuda. Again, the BT13 package you could probably cut for the blocker ones, but if you're running Christie, you need to run the BT13 Garudas. Garuda Ace is very funny. A lot of the comments about this card were like, this card's bad, why would I pay 4 to play a red Tamer that kills blockers, and if it dies, it overflows? Because overflow is bad, guys. It's a bad mechanic. But it does say cost for proper blocker, and Sora is also full cost. So, if it makes it back, you just go and win the game. This card is ridiculous, by the way. 0 cost, pop an 8k, and I'll gain rush, I guess. Also, you can combine it with Sora to go return to hand, play something with Sora, give that rush if you don't need to give this rush. Just a very aggro card that just helps accelerate your game plan. Also, they really gave me a trash 1 security from the top of your opponent's security as an inherit. Not normal. And then the level 6s, if I can throw my cards away without being foolish. 2 Phoenixmon BT15, 2 Phoenixmon BT11, and 3 Phoenixmon X antibody. This card just fixes the entire archetype. They've tried so hard with all the support they've done. I played this since BT11 when it was Red Vaccine Beast, and you had to run Veemon and Marsmon and grab the
players, your results have been bloody posted.
Thanks, Jambo.
Why did you go to Jambo?
They've tried so hard to make the archetype function until this set when it go, you know what, we messed up. This card says, on your deletions, activate them anyway. So when you attack and you have a Phoenixmon or an X antibody on your sources, you trigger all of the on-deletion effects that you have in its inherit, as well as its own. So the fact that you can just kind of go, blitz and security, 13k 1 check, it lives, I get my own delete effects. It dies, oh well, I get my own delete effect. Just allows you to turbo the game so quickly if you can get there. And part of the idea with the rush build is that you get to the Phoenix X quickly by swinging aggressively to get to free security on your opponent, and then Sora can start playing your level 5 thing, go Garuda X, and then into Phoenix X, which burn security, and then all sorts of different shenanigans, which I'll sort of go into a bit more detail later.
Who's coming?
Options. These are not options. So we have 2 Protoform, 2 Crimson Blaze, 3 Wings of Love, and 3 Trainings. You could probably cut this down by 1.
I fucked up.
Sorry, I edit. I went 3-1, almost undefeated. Yeah, so like you don't need to play 3 trains. You could probably cut a training for like a Wings of Love or maybe a better kill option than Crimson Blaze. Crimson Blaze is good for like the Nume matchup and like Jogress matchups as well, just to be able to keep them on the board. But Tyrant is a thing that we hate, so Plasma Stake or Trident Kaya is a better option to cut. Wings of Love is broken. Play a Tamer for effectively 2 costs, and then if you have a Sora, you return something to hand, which then triggers Sora, and then Protoform is Protoform, right? You evolve for 1 less, and then you have your X antibody to do shenanigans. And then finally the Tamers, we have 2 Christie, 3 Akiho, and these are the wrong way around, 4 Sora.
So mid.
So slow, bro. If you ever, I'm telling you now, if this is your starting turn, you go hatch a Yoko, Veemon in raising, play a Sora, pack up, go to game 2. It's so slow. Unironically, Sora, when I first looked at Sora, I thought, this team seems okay. Then, as I was playing BT16 with it, no, pretty not normal. The fact that you can just sort of kind of keep looping it back to your hand, and then you go like, play Garuda Ace, play it back, and then you go, Garuda X, return something to hand, return this to hand, play it out, Phoenixmon, play it back. Like, you just keep looping this one memory setter over and over, which feels really weird because when you play memory setters, you usually run 2, right? Because it's just like you only need to see 1 effectively. But like this is one of the few times where you want to see 4 of your mem setters, and again, you only really need 1, but you want to see it as soon as possible. It's the card that makes the deck tick. The secondary card that makes the deck tick is Akiho. There's some arguments to cut Akiho, and you could probably run 2. Just for like, because of Garuda X giving rush as well.
Yeah.
But I like it at 3. I'll maybe try to maybe cut for an Alice. But Akiho just gives you a secondary source of rush, so that if you run out of gas or if you're like playing a lot of bodies to board in one instance, you can just go, yeah, we'll tap this, give this rush, and then swing with a rookie, and now you're at 3 security, and then you swing with the Garudamon, and then you're at 2 security. It's just nice to have in general, and it also searches, so sometimes you just need to dig. If it bot decks your Tamers, you only need to find 1 realistically. Christie, again, the BT13 package is optional. I like Christie because at worst it's a free memory and a Veemon play. So even if you're not playing the BT13 Veemon, you can just like, I'll split out this one and get a free search, and then Evo on top of it, and now it's an extra memory if it dies. And that is the deck. So how do you play this deck? With a lot of trial and error is my first advice. This is a very combo-centric deck. This is your best rookie to find turn 1, because being able to go here and here means that your turn 2 is promote, pitch search for, swing, I return this back to hand, or return something else back to hand. Unironically, if you find a Sora as well, it makes this play even better because you search, you swing, you return to hand, and then you play something else. So maybe you play a Veemon out, for example, and then get another search, and you just pass the turn with an Akiho, and then you go again next turn and set up for your next turn. You're not killing them quickly in that regard. You are sort of like setting up your kill clock, but it's how you go about doing that. If you don't find this Veemon and you find any of the other Veemons, that's when you kind of have to like play it a little bit safer. You can still sort of like promote and swing and sort of take your damage, but ideally you then want to find either Saberdramon, sort of keep your opponent in check to not promote, so you just raid next and then disrupt them, disrupt yourself, and then recycle the Saberdramon if you need to, or the blocker one if you just want to have a early blocker. This as well, if you find it with this, you can promote, bring back the card you just picked, so you're not going negative at all, stuff like that. Where things get like really crazy is if you find this turn 1 and you think you have this in hand and you have this in hand. Because they both cost 4, you can just kind of go, well, I'm passing you 4 anyway, so here's a level 5 and here's a mem setter. If you don't deal with this, I'm just gonna turn it into one of these, and then now you have to deal with a Phoenixmon that has an on-delete effect. And then if you don't deal with that, you then go Phoenix X, and then you can't just spiral from there. You do need to make sure you keep setting up Tamers. So even just throwing up a Nagito or throwing down a Sora just a past turn, just so you have a mem set on board, because you're looping this so often. Sometimes you do just need an action to pass turn, so you just go, okay, I'll play a Sora, and then I don't know, if a Wings of Love gets instant security and you play a Veemon from trash, and then I don't know, you just you find something from trash to go to hand. Or let's say your egg just gets deleted. You go from losing a board state to return it to the hand, play out the play out the Garuda Ace. Play that, and if they've got a blocker on board, it's like, oh well, your blocker just dies, and then you just re-establish a board state from there. And again, if they can't clear it, you just go nuts from there, because then you just go, Garuda X, whatever it is, Garuda X, return something to hand, play something out, give it rush, and then you're just generating damage from nothing. What else is there to talk about?
Famously, a deck that can play through Quartz as a result.
Yeah, so even if the Akiho going sideways is kind of cringe, but notably Sora and Christie don't have any effects when they suspend, so they can turn sideways for all you care. Even Alice, if you were to call this for Alice doesn't care about being sideways. So you just go, okay, well, I'll return this to hand, play out Veemon, return this to hand, and obviously you've just taken 2/5 of the damage for Forceman off the board. And then you go, you do the Garuda play, you go into Garuda, X, take off another body for Quartz, swing with Phoenix X if you find Proto Fall, because then you go pop a 6k, play something else out, ideally this one, but if you have the Trash Inherit, playing out this one as well is really cool, because you can sequence it in a way that lets you go Phoenix X effects, play this out, burn security, resolve Phoenixmon effect to play another body out, and then you just swarm from there. And then obviously Proto Form, if it dies, you recycle a piece and recover one. So sometimes you just need a little bit of recovery.
Very normal.
Yeah, unless you're against a Solar Strip deck, in which case it's kind of useless, but it's one of those. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to sort of mention. Trainings, they do help you find your pieces as well, and sometimes you do just need to go training into a level 4, 0 or 1. Being able to play this out with Rush is very important, because sometimes you do just need to go raid, pop, play out with Rush, raid, pop, and then just clear board that way. But again, you don't really need more than 2 Saber Digimon, just because if you find one, you can just keep losing it. And then again, just an improvement. Crimson Blaze obviously helps in the new main matchup, but sometimes you do need a bigger, for Tyrant. Tyrant's not completely unwinnable. It's just it's a bit of a slog. So you do need a Trident or 2 just to take the Tyrant off the board. Or Alice against Imperial helps a lot in that regard, because you can anything that is stunned, you can just sort of pop and then get the undeletion effect from that as well. Yeah. It has a few bad matchups like Titan and Imperial, but other than that, Magna X, if they don't refresh their protection, you can just sort of threaten to play this, or threaten with a level 4, and if you don't find your protection, I'm just going to blast Evo, play a Sora, pop the Magna X. They'll still get the damage, but it was the Magna X, so better for you in that regard. And then playing through Magna X as well, as that's the last thing I mentioned, is it's not that difficult. You do have to sort of take them on a bit of a grind, but you play out so many bodies anyway that they can only block one before then you start doing damage. And then if they block something that has on-deletes, well then you're just going plus from that as well, and you can just sort of keep swarming bodies to maneuver around the Magna X. It's still tough, but it's playable in my experience, as long as you find the pieces for it. But yeah, that is Birds. Again, the changes I would probably make to my list, but if you're looking for a foundation, I'd say mine's a good place to start. Also, not to sort of toot my own horn, if you see me playing Birds on Andrew's stream, do sort of pay attention as to what I'm doing, as well as keeping in mind what effects I'm resolving, because there's a lot of effects going on at one point. You do need to sequence a lot and think ahead a little bit. Most notably for Tamer management. Tamer management is so important because if you're left without a Sora and you're passing turn, your opponent gets an opportunity to choke you, and you don't want that. You want to always be like setting yourself to free, or for you find a Christie, and just making sure this is always live so that you can at any point recur a body. And like Wings of Love helps with that. I wanted to call it Twin Wings of Love then, that's its old name. Like Wings of Love helps with that in regard, because then you just play it for 2, or you already have it out. You get a damage from nowhere that you can then like give rush. But yeah, Tamer management is very important. Don't overextend on playing bodies out. Just go for your setup early on, and then look to sort of take either control your opponent with deletion effects, or just swarm them with like a lot of damage early on. Like against a Magna Armour vaccine at one point, I did like 4 damage by turn 2, which was a bit fortunate, but it just kind of goes to show what you can do with the deck as long as you know what you're doing and know what risk you can and can't take depending on the situation. But yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, I do recommend giving birds even just a test run. It's not going to be meta defining, but it's a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people will enjoy just playing a deck that just isn't quite Nume but has similar traits to rushing down with small bodies in that regard.
All right, thanks, Trix.